like us to start with one thing. Just send me a message in the type and respond to me. What is one thing you want to achieve in this year? Just one thing, nothing more. I know Patrick has like 3 already, right? But we just need one. So what is one thing you want to achieve? Just let me know in the chats. Okay, I've seen clarity. Okay, Choma wants clarity. All right. Let me see what you have. Patrick and Sika, Monday, Amara. Oh, clarity, oh, clarity as well. Okay. And Sika also says clarity. Who else is giving me? Just one thing you want to achieve this year. What is that one thing you want to achieve this year? I think for me to be purpose, let me not purpose. Really amazing financial stability. Patrick, that's heavy. Financial freedom. Mara. Okay, now I think for me it's purpose, and for me it comes from the fact that what is that one thing that God has created me for, right? Can't I work in it? I know I've done a number of many things, but I want to begin to say, if I leave this world now today, I want to be satisfied and fulfilled. That okay, I'm in good hands. Apart from making heaven, right? The fact that you're able to touch someone's life, I mean, that's for me, right? Patrick, financial stability, amazing. Amara, financial freedom, awesome. Clarity, Choma and Sikan, amazing. Good stuff. It's my hope that today we can understand, right? Um, what can make you be inconsistent? Okay, help you gain clear direction, identify the root source of doubts, see if there's any leak in your confidence and how it affects your overall growth for the year. Okay, and also how to build a sustainable system to help you achieve your goals. Okay, and I mean, you can ask questions afterward at the end of the seminar. Let's interact and share ideas. These are things that I will not say they are extremely new. It's not like you've not heard it before. Maybe you've not just seen it in as a point to help you push the needle forward. Okay, all right, so let's move, let's dive in. I'm as excited as you are, so let's dive in. Okay, so growth really doesn't start with motivation. And I know that a lot of times motivation can get you to take that action. So sometimes some people wake up in the morning and just hear this motivation audio that tells them, oh, you can do it, oh, you can make it, oh, you can do this, just push. That is remarkably good, right? But it doesn't start there. It doesn't start there because you need to get to a point where, whether you're motivated or not, something pushes you to take that action, regardless of being motivated or not. Whether you're motivated or not, something pushes you to wake up in the morning and then take that next step for you to achieve your goals. Okay, and I think for me, it starts with understanding where you are currently. In your quest for financial freedom, Patrick, Amara, or your quest for clarity, where are you currently? What is the audit, which was what even inspired me to put out that tool that brought all of us here, which is the free audit tool. We have to look inwards and ask ourselves certain questions. Everything I'm doing up to this point, where has it gotten me to? Okay, if I'm a graphic designer, Patrick, and I've done A and B and C, and in all my knowledge of designing graphics, this is the result I've gotten. If I want to get to point D or point E, what do I need to do? What has gotten me here, and what do I need to do to get to the next level in my quest for being a graphic designer? Because trust me, there's something you can do, right? I don't know how much you currently earn, Patrick. I remember the first time I started earning money in graphic design, I've earned the lowest you can give anybody, 500 naira, 1,000 naira back then, right? But trust me, I've also earned 500K as a graphic designer. I've earned 2.5M as a graphic designer. And I've earned further than that in millions as a graphic designer. So what's really makes that difference, right? understanding and auditing yourself, that's saying that, okay, this is where I am now and this is where I want to get to in the next, say, 2 years or 2 months or 3 months. Okay. So, I mean, you can have habits, you can chase inspiration, you can pray harder because it really helps, right? You can work longer, but um, um, all of this would not work if you don't know what is broken. That is if something is broken, really. But trust me, the next level for you is possible. It's possible. We see it in all our people who look up to, people that, oh, we say, oh, I wish I can be like this person, people that are in our industry. We see it, right? It's our goal that you take the necessary step within this community to get you to that's your next level of growth. All right, so let's jump in. Sometimes we ignore some of these symptoms. We start and then we don't end. I'm sure, I don't know what your goal was last year, if it was financial freedom or clarity. And some people will say, oh, they'll save such and such amount every month, and they do it for the first few months, and then something happens and maybe an emergency comes up, they're not able to save. Okay, so we start and we don't finish it. Sometimes it's a discipline gap. We don't know the skill we need to take in to give us our next level of progress. Sometimes that's just the problem. We don't know what we need to do. And I think if you ask me, that's one of the biggest problems that is affecting us as young people in Nigeria. Nobody tells you what you need to do. Nobody like shows you the way. Our parents, I don't think they do justice. Well, let me speak for myself. I don't know for others, but I feel like sometimes we go into university without necessarily learning the skill we want to learn. And then we leave university without actually knowing what we want to do after school. So you go to secondary school, you go to university, you leave university, and then now sit down and say, what do I want to do with my life? It shouldn't always like that's already a flawed system. Because it shouldn't be like that. In a civilized society, we have people that go into secondary school already knowing what their life will be. And they're entering university, harnessing their passions and their traits. And they're leaving school. Is it my voice, Ogechi? I don't know if it's my voice or your voice you're talking about. Is my voice clear?
I can hear you clearly
Okay,
from me on
okay.
my end. Yeah.
Okay, because my fan is on. I don't know if my fan is on. Okay. And you leave school and then now say to yourself, what do I want to be? Ideally, this is not the pattern it's supposed to be, but we find ourselves in this system. We have to make the best use of it. So sometimes it's the discipline gap, sometimes we doubt ourselves, which is normal. Sometimes we feel busy, we lack direction, or there's no confidence. If you ask yourself now, what is limiting me? In what more often than not, it will fall somewhere amongst all of these things I've listed. You don't have enough discipline, you start and you fail, there's low confidence, or sometimes you doubt yourself. But guess what? This in itself is not a character flaw. They are just, it happens to everybody, it happens to every one of us, right? Trust me, there are things that I would have wanted to achieve, but I still doubt myself, and that's why I've never even started doing it even up till now. Right? So it's not a character flaw. It's there are signals that, oh, indeed, I need to work. There's some work to do on my part. There's some work to do on my part. All right. Okay. So this is what auditing means. Like I said, take an intentional audit of where you are in your life. Tell yourself the truth. Measure your actions, the actions you've taken to get the results that you are seeing now as it is. Okay. Look at patterns. Check out, do you have patterns? Were you more successful when you were in certain circles, when you related to certain people, or when you're in certain places? Were you more successful then than now? You have friends that it's clear that this is a bad pattern. In the last 1 week, I've not been able to exercise or go to the gym because I'm in my friend's place, or because I'm with somebody who doesn't care so much about exercise. That's a pattern. So are they intentional patterns that you can tell it's a limit to what you're trying to achieve. This is basically what audit means, telling yourself the truth. I mean, I remember telling myself last year I was going to have a good relationship with my wife. We're going to like go out more. We're going to spend time with my child. I have a son. Spend time with him more. I need to be a dad for him. But really, I know I wrote all of those goals down, but I don't think I actually intentionally made an effort to make it possible. And then I tell myself that, oh, I'm busy. Oh, I'm making money for the same family. Right? That's the excuse we give ourselves. But I mean, what's the point of making all the money when you cannot spend 10 to 20 minutes with your son every day? So you end up growing in the same house with a boy that does not really know you or connect with you because you're not spending time with me yet with him, yet you're making money for him. So auditing helps us ask pertinent questions, and hopefully we get direct answers for nobody will do it for you. You have to do it for yourself, basically. Okay, so let's dive into the various types of audit we can do, okay, and how we can do it. All in the means to achieving what we want to achieve this year. So for me, it starts with an identity audit. This is who I am versus this is what I want to be. This is who I am now, right? I'm a Christian. I go to church. I have a professional career. I need anger management because I shout a lot. I have these bad habits that I really want to stop doing. I want to achieve this and that's where are you right now? Like who are you basically? Okay, so again, consistency starts here. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your identity, who you are. Permit me to say that Jesus actually knew who he was right from the get-go. As a child, he knew who he was. That's why he could boldly tell his mom and his dad that, don't you know a bit about my father's business? Come on now. As a child, he knew who he was. The whole world, or every one of us, had to come to know him. We find alignments to him, whether you are doing it now or you are doing it yesterday or you do it in the future as an unbeliever. Every one of us on earth find alignments through to God through Jesus Christ. But Jesus, as a person, he came to the world already knowing who he was. And of course, he had confirmation. God said, this is my beloved son in whom I'm well pleased. It seems like the whole world was trying to catch up with him, but for him as an individual, he knew who he was. So identity basically lets us determine who we are and who we want to be. All right. So ask yourself, who do I say I am? Okay. What do people say I am? And who do I say I am? How do I actually live? Right? And where is there any form of misalignment in who I am, what people say I am, what I want to be, and how I am living currently? Trust me, there's misalignment there. For me, there's already some misalignments. Okay. And then the work itself to get you from where you are, what you're doing now, to where you want to be or where you see yourself in the future is the work that every one of us has to put in, of course, to get to where we want to get in life, basically. Okay, so ask yourself this question. I say I am dash, but my actions show dash. I would have loved that we all take this exercise, but there's no time, so I'm just breezing everything through. Okay, I can share the slide after the class. I say I am this. Patrick, I say I am this, but my actions show this. I say I am an intentional father, but my actions show I don't spend time with my son. So how do they relate? It doesn't gel, right? I say I am a career person, but my action shows I don't read books. I don't read one novel. Sorry, not even novel now in this. I don't read a professional book. At least one professional book every month. And I mean intentionally reading. You know how we back then in school we used to read like you read. I had a 2-1 in engineering. I know how difficult it was to retain some of those things I learned, even though I can't remember anything now again. It was difficult. You read overnight, you read and you read and you read, just so you want to pass. But we leave school and then for some weird reason, we don't put as much work to reading. And then for some weird reason as well, we want to achieve what we see the likes of Elon Musk achieve and the likes of Mark Zuckerberg. And we think it's a joke, really, because we think it's by prayer and fasting. There's a place for that, but there's also a place for intentional hard work, especially in our professional career. Personally, I know what it took me to leave a place where I can earn, where I was earning 1K for graphic design to 15K, 25K to a million naira for the same graphic design, all by intentional knowledge, taking in knowledge intentionally. All right. So these are some of the reasons why inconsistency persists. Well, I think that inconsistency is not a lack of desire, it's a lack of knowing who you are and what you want to achieve. And that's why Jesus Christ, in as much as he brought his disciples, he knew ultimately that his goal was to die on the cross. It didn't matter if Pilate was or if the Roman Empire was suffering the people of Israel at his time. It didn't matter if people were dying at his time. It didn't matter if someone like Peter would tell him that, oh, you won't die. As long as I'm here, you won't die. And he had to shut Peter up. He knew that the sole reason why he came to earth was to lay down his life for us all. And he pursued that goal to the very end. He didn't need more than that. It was 3 years. It was 3 years. He didn't need more than that. I'm more than 33, and I'm still trying to find my feet, my footing in life, right? You see that we have a really long way to go when it comes to some of these things. You can't be consistent with a version of yourself you don't believe in. Consistency is what basically pushes you up in the morning to do your work. Now, this is outside of the motivation that you hear. When you are weak, when you are ill, consistency is what will push you up. When you know, Patrick, that you have to be a brand identity designer, and then if you are a brand identity designer, you can build thought leadership in that. You can start commanding your fee when it comes to how much you earn. You wake up in the morning to pursue those deals. You wake up in the morning to design those brand identity stuffs that puts your work out there. Because you have an idea of, you have an understanding of what you want to achieve in the next 1 year or 2 years. It's an identity thing. So I'm trying to tell you now that if you know who you are and what God has created you for and what you're trying to achieve, it's a means to push you to make that action or to take that step in the right direction. It's a means also to inspire confidence in you. Confidence is when you trust yourself. You know you are not where you are. You are not also where you used to be. But you trust that what you're doing now will get you to the next step. So with that trust and that mindset, you put in the work and then you follow your process. The process is different for all of us, but you know that you are following your own process in Sikan. You are following your own process to get you to that next level of growth, whatever it is. So confidence is alignment, also alignment between your belief and your behavior, alignment between the evidence of your past action. If I know that I've been doing graphic design up until this point, and I'm not yet maybe a Chris Do. Chris Do is one of the famous brand strategies in the world right now. Then I know, right, that if I've done some level of good work for, I can put in some extra level of work, and there's a guaranteed success for me. I may not know what that success looks like, but what I can know and deliver on is the level of work I can put. Once I put in that level of work, I know that that level of work I put will take me to that next level of greatness that I want to see. I might sit in bits and pieces, but that level of work again, like I said, which is past actions, evidence of past actions, it gives me the confidence that there's a future somewhere that I'm trying to head to. Okay, so confidence leaks when you break your promise to yourself, you compare yourselves to others. Trust me, guys, our journey is totally different. Our journey is totally different. I'm not as young as you think. Let me just leave it there. I'm sure you think, oh, this guy is young, but I'm not as young as you think. But also, I don't feel I've achieved half of what God has placed in my hands to achieve. There was the time I was blaming I blamed the environment, I blame my university. I went to school to read civil engineering. It was supposed to be a 5-year course. I went to school, we had issues, and I mean, well, this course itself was not accredited. Imagine bringing people to a university that is not accredited. Sorry, confirmation. Can you still hear me? Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. Sometimes I talk so much and I just go with the flow. Just thumbs up. Okay, thumbs up, Chema. All right, great. Amazing, amazing. Thank you, guys. So I went to university. I didn't know that the course I was learning was not accredited. So guess what? I did 5 years. When we're like in 400 level, they now told us that your course is not accredited, though. So when you graduate, there will be no certificate for you. Can you imagine that? And here am I thinking, I'm going to finish school, I'm going to run into the system, I'm going to change my world. And all of a sudden, something that is beyond my control has affected me. I could not go back home because obviously I don't want to relate with my mates because it felt like they've all achieved things and I've not. I stayed in school. I could not do anything. I could not work because I was still a student. So guess what, guys? I hated the system. I was angry with everything about life. I was angry about everybody. So a 5-year course for me, I spent 7 years, guys. They took us from University of Abuja to Futmina to do an extra year. We did an extra year in Futmina. From Futmina, we came back to University of Abuja to do another extra year. So a 5-year course, I spent 7 years doing it. So I hated education pretty much. And I hated the system. And I blamed the system for just like covering my glory, supposedly. And it affected the way I saw life. And I just hated everything about, I don't know, education. I hated everything about school and all that. But I had to tell myself, because I saw that God was working in me and through me, and God was telling me pretty much that, guy, this is your own journey. It's your own process. It's different from everybody else. Everybody else has their journey and their process. This is your own journey. Your journey is your story. Your story is your process. Your process is you. God is trying to make you you. The version of you that's in the future that God wants to bring out and evolve. The opportunities, the mishaps, the contradictions that will happen to you, it's only for you. It's only fashioned for you because God knows who you'll be in the future and who you will relate with in the future. That's basically how this life works. So I had to translate all of that understanding, all of that wickedness and hatred to make something out of it for myself. And I'm still in that journey and process pretty much. Okay, so we are uncomfortable, we avoid uncomfortable work sometimes. I'm still under the reasons why confidence leaks. All right, and we break promises to ourselves, we rely on motivation instead of systems. So now we'll build more on that pretty much. Okay, so when it comes to confidence, ask yourself these questions. Okay, what promises do I keep breaking? It's funny because I mean, I'm saying this also to myself because I know I still break a lot of promises even up until now, right? And I know we all still do for ourselves. So what promises do you keep breaking that affect your confidence? And where do you avoid responsibility? When you have an opportunity that demands that you wake up, you spend extra time learning and spend extra time studying, and you just feel like, oh, I will not do it. Person does not want to pay too much. There are sometimes when you need to do the kind of work you need to do to get to where you want to get to. There's some doors that are not open for you until when you do free work. That's just life. Because again, sometimes backgrounds differ, right? So know the kind of background you are coming from, know where you want to go to, and know the kind of opportunities you have to seize to get to that place that you want to go to. Okay, what am I afraid to be seen at failing at? Sometimes for some people, they don't, maybe their English, their diction. Some people are just naturally shy, and that's fine. But you can, if you know that this shyness is limiting your growth or your progress or your joy or that next level you want to go to and bringing down your confidence, you have to work on it. You have to work on it. So it's my hope that you ask yourself this question and then find answers for them, right? What promises do I keep breaking? Where do I avoid responsibility? What am I afraid of being seen at failing at? It's funny because we hope we know that you cannot succeed until when you fail. The more you fail, the more likelihood of success you get. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. The first website design job I got, if I remember clearly, I begged the person to pay me 50K to get it done. Well, I was not doing, I was doing it for the first time. I've never done a website design job before, but I needed that opportunity because I wanted to hit the ground running. The person was trying to beg somebody else to collect like 150 to get the job done, and that person was doing shakara like, oh, I'll collect 200. I'm like, guy, just give me this thing, pay me like 80K. The person paid me 100 actually, pay me like 70K first, and I'll do something. Once you see it, you balance me up. And the person with an iota of doubt was just like, okay, let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. And guys, I spent the next 1 week on YouTube trying to design a website. That was how I learned how to design a website. Okay. Now, the biggest website designer job I've done now at this age is in its six figures. You will not believe it. The biggest website design job done is in its six figures. And I see the graphic design on the side. Now, you see, I wouldn't have even gotten an opportunity like that if I was not readily available and ready to seize such opportunities and to learn on the go and to fail and try and keep moving. Okay, so again, doubt isn't your enemy. That is feedback. Now, this is what I feel about doubts. It's feedback that there's more to be done. There's more learning to do. There's a learning curve. There is a form of growth in that regard. So wherever you doubt yourself, it shouldn't sabotage you, right? It's feedback that you need to go forward more. You need to learn more. Sometimes it points to lack of clarity, it points to lack of preparation, okay? Lack of community in this sense, because sometimes the network you are in can really inspire you to get the best out of what you are currently doing. If you're a graphic designer, you should be in a network of graphic designers, so at least you even see what happens and what goes on around there. All right, so let's see doubt. Anytime that we doubt ourselves, we should see it as a feedback that, oh, there's more work for us to do to get to our next level. All right, 3 of doubt. Sometimes information doubts, which means you don't know enough, which is fine. Identity doubts, which takes us to our first thing I mentioned, which is what am I? Who am I really? Who am I? And how does it connect with what I'm trying to achieve right now? Fear-based doubts, which is normal for everybody. What if I fail? Fine. What's the worst that can happen, guy? If you fail, you fail. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. If you need to ask somebody something and then you're like, oh, what will the person say? Ask yourself, what's the worst that can happen? The person will say no. That's fine. If the person says no, I'll go to another place. If you need to borrow money, for example, to maybe buy yourself a new laptop or to take on a project, what's the worst that can happen? No. And then you move forward. So if fail, it's fine. There's something you call reiteration, which is if you fail, what it will help to know exactly where you failed and know what you can change about that thing to get you your results. A very vivid example. when I put out this, when I put out the audits, it was I just put out the audits to try and maybe inspire people. People are going to the new year, let them see something that will help them with feedback, and then they can go move in their year, right? When I did it first, I was not getting the result I wanted. But then I was seeing a lot of downloads. A lot of people were downloading, and I said to myself, how do I like how do I reach out to these people after they've downloaded it? I sent an email blast across like 300 persons. Like 20 people saw it. Imagine me sending email to 300 people, only 20 people saw it. I'm like, what's happening? How can I connect to these people? 20 people are seeing it. Okay. And then I had to go back to my funnel and tweak the funnel in such a way that once you download the documents, it takes you directly to the WhatsApp group. Trust me, this was not even the plan from the beginning to create a WhatsApp group. It was not the plan. I made this decision while I already launched the audit itself. And I felt, why can't, and so in my mind, oh, what people see, what people say they are in a WhatsApp group, they did not necessarily say they wanted to join. I'm forcing them to join. Like, what's the worst that can happen? They will leave. A lot of people have left, and that's fine. That's okay. A lot of people will still leave. That's totally fine. Okay. But guess what? About 250 persons joined the WhatsApp group just with that same decision. And I'm sure now it has reduced to 100 and something, and that's totally fine, right? But that's a huge success for me because this is a step in the next direction. But the first time I did it, it didn't work as planned, but I had to change the results. So I can say that, oh, it failed. And then I'm like, oh, I'll give up. But just a little change in my process is beginning to look like, oh, this thing you want to achieve is achievable. That's just an example of what you can change when you fail and how you can move forward to get the result that you want. All right. So for confidence and doubts, ask yourself, what what thoughts do I keep avoiding? Are there certain calls I should be making? Are there certain people I should be meeting? What actions do I keep avoiding? What big decisions do I need to learn something heavy and make payment for that I keep avoiding? If I need to learn something, I might as well just learn it and move forward. Okay, what actions can I take to reduce doubts? Do I need to do a presentation in front of a group of people first before I go out and do my presentation? When I do something that needs to launch, do I need to run it by a group of people first? Now, I want us to have a community where you can share ideas. If you have something, you are trying to make it work, you are trying to tweak, you are starting a business, you can just dump it on the group. Anybody that wants to help can help. Anybody that wants to give you a feedback can give you a feedback, and then we can all grow together as a strong community, or at least achieve our goals at the end of 2026. Okay, because again, we don't know when God will call us home, kind of. So we might as well just put in the work now to get the result that we want to see from ourselves. Doubt fades without movement. Oh, sorry, doubt fades with movement, not thinking. Doubt fades when you, even with fear, put in the work, make that decision, make that call, purchase that ebook, purchase that book, discuss with that friend or that partner. You begin to see doubt reduce. You don't think that you have a good face to be on camera, just be on camera anyhow. You begin to see that doubt reduce. Lastly, I think this is last. Lastly, yeah, direction audit. So direction answers what matters now, what can wait, what must stop. Okay. So I've talked about identity, confidence, doubts, and then direction. What should I be doing now? January has gone, guys, and I don't know how many of you achieve what you wanted to achieve. But whatever happens, January is gone. We are now in February. What should you be doing now? What matters now? What would have to wait till tomorrow or next year, probably? What must stop? What must stop? Being busy is easy, being intentional is hard. I said to myself this year, I'm going to strive to go to the gym. I'm going to strive to exercise. It's not been easy, but I feel like January was a success for me when it comes to going to the gym. It's still not easy, but I push myself. I've gotten some gym gears and I push myself every morning to try and do at least 30 minutes. Well, sometimes I don't do 30 minutes. I do more, way more. Sometimes I do like maybe 15 minutes if I'm really stressed out, and I can just do push-ups before I take my bath. I still try to do that. And I feel like if you ask me when it comes to my wellness and health, I feel like I've made some progress in January. I look forward to many more progress in the year. But it takes intentional. I didn't believe that it would be this difficult for me because it has to be intentional. When it comes to purpose, and I said myself, I'm just going to jump and do anything that God has laid in my heart to do. Over my years, I've had to inspire people in remarkable ways, even ways that are bigger than what I would have thought is possible for me myself. Just by and God has done it in such a way that He has just brought random people my way, and in some more ways than not, I've been able to inspire them in the right direction. And I'm like, I told my wife, this thing is looking like it's my purpose. Oh. It's like, you get, it's like, it comes easy to me. And I'm like, maybe I should just pay more attention to this thing. And one way for me to pay more attention to it is what I've joined, what I've created, the To Be Hacking community. So, in as much as it looks like, of course, I intend to make money with this or any other thing. I still have a 9 to 5, so I'm still working. But this for me is purpose. And in as much as I don't know where it's going to, I know that it's in the right direction because it's in the littlest of ways possible. It can inspire somebody. It can help somebody make the one good decision for this year that can change the trajectory of their life forever. And if I'm able to do that, man, I know I've achieved purpose. Truly. So this community is more for me than even for you guys. But even if intentionally I'll have to give, I will have to give, I have to give. It's like I've sworn that you must succeed in life. Patrick, Amara, Chioma, Ntika, and Anogechi, and Kemisola. I've sworn that you must succeed in this life, right? And everything that it will take to help us achieve that goal will happen. That's being intentional. I said all of that to say this. That's my way of being intentional. So for being intentional, ask yourself, what am I saying yes to that drains me? What season of life am I actually in? Should you be learning and you're trying to be a thought leader? Should you be learning and trying to be a thought? Should you be should you be growing a professional path and you're trying to start a business? If you ask me, if you're just fresh out of university, you should grow a solid professional path, career path. It doesn't matter where you work. Just grow a solid professional, because I didn't do that myself, and there are a lot of things that I missed out on that could have helped me in life. Okay, so you have to understand what season of life you are in, and also what one focus you should do to simplify your life right now. That's why I asked, what is one thing you want to achieve? You cannot tell me about financial stability if you're not ready to save. And when it comes to saving, sometimes it can be as much as, if you say 40, 30, 30, it can be as much as 60% saving from what you currently do right now, earn right now. So are you willing to save 60% from what you earn, Amara and Patrick? Because that's the only way to get financially free. If you do a 100%, for example, you spend 60, you save 30, you can grow with 30. Sorry, you spend 40, you save 30, another 30 can be for maybe emergency, but it's still the form of savings, but you are constantly saving 30%. That's one of the easiest ways and most minute ways of being financially free or getting financial stability. Savings, then investments. right? Then how do you multiply your income in the first place? How do you give out more value to earn more? Because that will most likely happen as well if you want financial stability. Discipline resets. Okay, discipline resets. So discipline is not punishment, it's a structured way that preserves to protect your future. And in more often way of ways than not, we all need a form of discipline in our lives. Every one of us, including myself. It protects our future because we can get easily distracted with uh, items that is happening now that affects or contradictions that affects us right now, that clouds our judgment right now. We we don't even know that it's affecting our future. Okay, so discipline protects your future self. If there's any way you can be disciplined, any system, we will be sharing a couple of systems on the group that helps with discipline, confidence, reducing doubts. You jump on it, jump on it, jump on it. These three parts discipline system would also work. Who am I becoming? What are my daily actions? When I walk within the throughout the week, I can ask myself what worked, what didn't, as well. Okay, so let's wrap this up. When it comes to discipline, ask yourself, what did I do consistently? What did I avoid doing? Why did I avoid it? This is like a weekly audit. So what have I done this week that was successful? um, what did I avoid doing? Why did it happen? What will I adjust next week to help me gain an even greater success? This is how you compound growth. So every day, try and do a self audit at the end of the day. Every week, try and do an audit at the end of the week. Begin to compound your growth. Trust me, you might not know what that future is, but you are walking into the future easily. You're walking into the future easily. I'm a living testimony of what can happen when you put in the work and trust God without even knowing anybody and just starting from ground zero. You walk into your future without you even knowing. God just finds a way of making things happen, connecting you with the right opportunity, the right environment, the right people, the right church, the right spouse, and everything just finds a way of happening naturally. So again, this is the connection, knowing who you are, what you want to be, identity, taking actions based on your past evidence, what you've done in the past and what you want the future to be like, building confidence, building discipline, and having a clear path of direction. Of course, there are many other ways, but I feel like if we are consistent in these few things, 2026 is going to be a good year for us. Amongst the many other things you will do, knowing who you are, where you are right now, what you want to be, like I said, taking the right set of actions, dumping some actions, picking up others, knowing the evidence of what has succeeded for you in the past, and then striving to put more efforts in that thing to get you greater progress in the future, building confidence, building discipline, which all of us needs to build at some point if we want to see the best versions of ourselves, and then chasing the one clear direction that God has positioned you to chase. I told you, Jesus knew his. He came to die for our sins. He came. It didn't matter what happened on it. He delivered on it. 3 years, he's out of our lives. We are the ones that are chasing after him now. Okay, pretty much, right? He had a clear path of direction. And you know the good thing, because Jesus had a clear path of direction, there's confidence that we can have a clear path of direction because as he is, so are we. Everything he has worked, all of his parts, everything he has done, so he has inspired us to do. All of the tools he has used, so he has given us to execute with. So he has given us, so like me, that will blame the system and the environment. All of those, like I said, is fashioned for you and your future, pretty much. Pretty much. Okay, so last thing here, it's a possible 30-day action plan. Pick one identity, like I said, determine what that is, commit to doing one action daily, and review it every 7 days, which is as much every week. Review it every week. Um, as it's where I'm here to help, Trauma is here to help. We're here to help ourselves. So it's my goal that we, at the end of every month, we have seminars, we have webinars like this where we just sit down, dissect what we've done, dissect what we are doing now, talk about it, if it's making progress or not, or what we need to tweak or what we need to do, and then we empower ourselves into the new month. It's easy. A lot of people get into the new year and then it's a January is good, February is good, March it begins to calm down. But trust me, if we build this community in such a way that we are accountable to each other at the end of every month, we will pretty much just fire ourselves up every new month, and then we can keep our streak running at the end of every month until we have a successful 2026. That's pretty much the plan, and I want to inspire all of you to join in on it. All right, so you don't need a new life, you need a clear mirror. And it's my hope that I've said a lot, but at least you took out one thing out of the many things I've said. All right, thank you. So if you have any questions or thoughts, concerns, let's talk about it. But one more thing from me, you guys, please. Tell me one thing you've learned out of this webinar. I know I say a lot and I do a lot of talking. Sorry about that. I'm passionate about, sometimes when I'm passionate, I just talk and I just talk. But tell me, I'm sure you've learned one thing. What is that thing you've learned? You can type it. You don't have to say it. If you want to say it, you can unmute yourself and talk. If not, just type it in on the chat. One thing you've learned from today's discussion. All right. Please, tell me something. Let me know be that all this thing I've been saying do not make sense. You can unmute yourself and talk, please. Insikan, Amara, Ogechi, Patrick, Kemisola.
Okay, so for me, I think one thing that stands out for me is discipline. If I'm able to discipline myself to follow certain things, be consistent about it, even though the results don't look like they are happening. But because I'm consistent and disciplined enough to stay on track and stay on course, it would gradually compound over time. And I think that's something that I it really resonates with me, because I would say those are the areas in which I'm um, lacking a bit. So discipline,
Mm,
consistency, stay in the path. Not because I'm expecting to wake up and see results today, no, but just because I know it's the right thing to do and I continue on that path. Over time, the progress will become compounded and then the results will be evident.
amazing stuff. Thank you, Insikan, for sharing. That's really good. That's really good. Myron Golden, one of the guys I listen to, he mentioned something. He said, when you fail, a lot of people ask, a lot of people are concerned about what it does for them when you fail, when they fail. But when you fail, there are two things you should be concerned about: what it does for you and what it does in you. What it does in you. When anybody feels about in something, you should be proud that you even put in the work, which is half of the work. A lot of people don't even put in the work. They get ideas, they don't pursue it. Like they don't have the strength, they don't have the willpower to even pursue and fail. So if you pursued and it doesn't quite work out as planned, I mean, give yourself kudos. Highly most likely you are pursuing in the right direction to your success. You've not just getting it right yet. and it's just a matter of time you get it right. It's just a matter of time you get it right. Kemi says consistency, and also weekly accountability. Yes, weekly accountability. Choma is our accountability manager in the community, so she will help us out wherever she can. She will share videos. She will share action points for us every day, if possible, and hopefully it can help us grow and it can help us to be more disciplined and all that.